Welcome to Tonia's Kitchen, where taste and nutrition go hand in hand. Here is Tonia King.
My guest today is cookbook author Dina Gillen. Today we're talking about pizza on a plank. Love the book, Dina. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having me, Tanya.
Many times for me, when I saw pizza on a plank, when I think of a plank, I always think about cooking salmon on a plank. So what made you think about doing pizza on a plank?
Well, I started plank grilling over 20 years ago when my brother contacted me. He had a plank manufacturing business, and his customers were calling him saying, "We only know how to do salmon on a plank. Do you have any other ways, ideas of how we can use it?" And so you're not the only one. His customers were telling him the same thing. So I started experimenting, trying different foods and recipes and dishes on a plank. And I started trying pizzas, and all my friends and family started, telling me this is it. This is what we love the most on the planks. And I love plank grilling. I love pizzas, and it just seemed like a natural thing to do is to write a plank grilling pizza book.
Sounds great. Now let's talk a little bit about the process because planks, do you normally soak them in water first before you put them on the grill?
Absolutely. You have to. Otherwise they just incinerate right away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how long, and are they made of a certain type of wood?
There's all kinds of wood. So to answer your question, yes, I soak anywhere, from 1 to 2 hours to 24 hours. So the more, the better. And then I play around with different woods. For the book, I predominantly used maple, alder, and cherry woods because I liked those flavors. But there's, hickory and oak and cedar, like you mentioned, and there's all different kinds of woods. And food is subjective. So whatever you prefer, whatever you like, play around with different woods. When you buy grilling planks online, a lot of times they come in multi-packs of different flavors. I highly recommend that, you go buy one of those multi-packs and try out the different varieties and see what you like.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. How easily available are planks these days?
When I first started plank grilling and writing these plank grilling books, they were hard to find, but now they're everywhere. I live in Northern California, and they're in my local grocery store. So they're in Costco, they're in Home Depot, they're on Amazon, they're
They're
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Right now, I can find them everywhere.
So after you use a plank, is it reusable or do you have to toss it?
Yeah, when I was writing this book, I would make 4, 5, 6 pizzas with one plate.
Oh,
And yeah, if I wasn't doing them all in one time, I would just wash off the plank and store it in my freezer until the next time I used it. And then once I was done, like when it started to char and, crumble, I would crumble it up and put it at the bottom of my grill and use it as wood chips. So I would use it until it was completely gone. So you could keep using it until it is gone.
well, that's really good. So there's no waste. You're
There's
using
no
it
way.
one way or another.
Yep, absolutely.
So now let's talk about the process because it really fascinates me. I was reading in your book, you put your pizza dough on the plank and just cook the dough first a little bit, right? Because otherwise it probably would take a long time and it may not all cook the way you want it to, correct?
Right. The great thing about plank grilling is a pizza is that it doesn't take a long time anyway. It's a fast process because you're putting it in a hot grill. And so you put the dough on a plank, you let the dough grill for about 5 minutes just so it grills a little bit before you put the ingredients, because once you put the ingredients on there, you don't want it to get soggy. And After the dough has grilled a little bit, you put the ingredients on there, you let it grill for another 5, 6 minutes, and then you could take the pizza off the grill, and you have the most amazing wood fired grilled pizza that tastes like the wood and the smoke because both of those flavors have infused your pizza, plus the texture that comes off the grill. It's amazing. It's like a wood-fired pizza that you would get from a restaurant.
So, Dina, is there any difference in using a gas grill compared to a charcoal grill?
No, I mean the difference is in the preparation. So I prefer a gas grill because for me it's easier to contain the flame, but that's just my preference. If you were to talk to someone who prefers a charcoal grill, they would tell you I prefer charcoal. So it just depends on the person's preference.
And are you putting the plank directly on, on direct heat or indirect heat?
I am putting it over direct heat, but if you're using a charcoal grill, I recommend that you put it over indirect heat.
Because it could char very quickly, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it's just easier to control when you use it over indirect heat. With a gas grill, because you are able to control the flame, I can do that over direct
Right,
heat.
right. You have a lot of tips for the best planked pizzas. Do you want to share a few of those that people should keep in mind?
I include international pizzas like a Peking duck pizza, some Moroccan style pizzas like a lamb and apricot pizza.
There really are some very interesting combinations here. You must have spent a long time doing recipe developing and testing.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
I do include, your basic 4 cheese pizza and your margarita pizza because those are always the favorites. They're simple, but they're always delicious.
Right.
And then I kind of went adventurous. So for those people who like adventurous pizzas, there's a buffalo chicken pizza. There's a Moroccan-inspired lamb and apricot pizza. Typically, I wake up at 2 in the morning. And I think it would be so delicious if I took this ingredient and this ingredient, and I will write down on a notepad by my bed and put these ingredients together. I get up the next day, I'll start writing a recipe, put it down on paper, and I'll write down how I want it to flow when I'm making it. And then in the evening, I'll start writing it and putting it together. I'll start cooking it, actually. Well, you mentioned the pear brie and caramelized onion. A lot of times on a charcuterie board, you would see a cheese board with pears and some kind of caramelized onion or a sweet jam or something. So I thought it'd be really delicious to put those ingredients together and create a pizza. That is actually the one that you mentioned, the pear brie and caramelized onion, one of my favorites.
Well, let me ask you, are you cooking the pears at all prior to putting it on the plank, or does the pear soften up enough in that quick amount of time on the grill?
The pears actually softens on the grill, but there's a caramel apple pizza that it's a dessert pizza that I have in the book. That is one of my favorites also. And for that one, I do cook the apples because if you don't, it is predominantly apples for that pizza. And if you don't cook the apples, it will make the pizza soggy. So it just depends on how much of an ingredient you're using. For the pear, brie, and caramelized onion one, the pear is there's just a few slices of pear, and so I didn't need to cook it for that pizza.
And I bet you probably slice it nice and thin.
You do, yeah. And then when the smoke infuses the pear, the flavor of the pear is delicious.
You have a wide variety of pizzas, no sauce pizzas, but I got to ask you about this one, a pickle pizza with a garlic cream sauce. Tell me how to make that. That's interesting. Who ever thought about putting pickles on pizza?
Right? So when I was researching pizzas, I came across a restaurant in Minnesota called QC Pizza, and they have a pizza called Kinda Big Dill. It has like a dill cream sauce with Canadian bacon and sliced pickles. And I got really curious. So I started playing around with a my own version of a sliced pickle pizza, and mine has a garlic cream sauce with the sliced pickles and mozzarella cheese and freshly grated Parmesan. And I have to tell you, Tanya, once I took it off the plank, the flavor of the smoke with the sliced pickles and the garlic cream, it sounds weird, but it tastes amazing. And in fact, I think out of all the recipes in the book, it might be my husband's favorite pizza.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
delicious. Yeah, it's
Wow.
really, really good. A lot of times, what I do when I'm creating recipes, I think of things that I like to eat that might be a little fussy when I'm creating them, or um, take a long time when I'm making them. But how can I simplify them? And making a pizza is a very simple, you're essentially just taking ingredients, prepping them, and then laying them out on a piece of dough.
Right.
So the spanakopita pizza, you are essentially taking, frozen spinach that's been thawed, and you're draining it, mixing it with some mozzarella cheese and fresh oregano, and laying it out on the dough and then sprinkling with feta cheese. That is also one of my favorite pizzas because it really takes to plank grilling, and the smoke infuses the spinach and the feta and the dough. That's an amazing pizza as well. And it sits on the sauce on it is a garlic cream sauce. So with the mozzarella and the feta and the spinach, it's a delicious pizza.
It sounds great. We're talking with cookbook author Dina Gillen about pizza on a plank. Now, you even have dessert pizzas. Let's talk about a dessert pizza.
There's a strawberry mint pizza with a lemon glaze. Sometimes people forget that smoke and sweetness go really well together, as with barbecues.
Right.
And strawberry pizza is one of those pizzas that you take roasted strawberries, where in this case it's grilled strawberries, that are placed on a ricotta the sauce is a ricotta on dough and grilled strawberries, and then there's a lemon glaze that goes on top. That is a really good pizza too.
That sounds delicious. And you're sprinkling some fresh mint leaves on
And
there,
then you
right?
put some fresh mint on top that gives it a little bit of brightness. And that's a really delicious pizza. There's, of course, you have to have a s'mores pizza if you're going to do a good cook.
So how are you putting that together?
So you've got the dough, and then you're plank grilling the dough, and then you put some you mix graham cracker crumbs with some butter, and you make a crumb mixture. And then of course you've got your chocolate chips, some marshmallows, some sliced almonds, and then you sprinkle the graham cracker mixture, and you grill all of that together, and you've got yourself a s'mores pizza. It's delicious.
It's a great spin on s'mores and pizza.
Yeah,
It's a
and
great way to
it
get them both together
works really well
on a plank, right?
on a plank.
I noticed that you also have a salmon pizza, salmon and kale. Wow.
Yeah. With some coconut. Yeah, it's a different pizza, but I had to include a salmon pizza just because people associate plank grilling with salmon.
Are you making your own pizza dough?
Absolutely. You can definitely buy your own pizza dough. And if you are not into making your own pizza doughs, I highly encourage you to buy your own pizza dough because it tastes just as good. I do, however, include 3 different pizza doughs. If you like making your own, I've included a Neapolitan style pizza dough, a New York style pizza dough, and a beer pizza dough that you can make on your own. And they're both They're all three really good doughs. They're thin crust dough. They're no knead doughs. And they all three taste amazing on the plank.
Dina, this is such a fun book. We're talking with cookbook author Dina Gillen about her brand new book, Pizza on a Plank. How do we find you on social media?
You can find the book on Amazon.
That's great. Thank you so much for your time today, and happy grilling.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you'll subscribe to this podcast as we continue to take you around the world of food and wine on Tonia's Kitchen.